really clean up this code? What is it just trying to be sort of captured in a function to make it really, really short, sweet, well-named, clear? And it turns out that if you do that as well, maybe we'll talk about this later, if you carve it out as a function, it's really clear what that function depends on, what it takes as arguments. In other words, what it takes as parameters passed into it, what information wants to do a job. Looking at a whole bunch of code, that's not clear. Put it in a function, it's clear like what it needs to do its job and what it returns. It's much clearer about what is going on. Okay? So let's talk about cleaning up a little bit more code. Okay, so here's some more code. What's going on here? It's nodding. Okay, so nodding in the sense like going to sleep in Osgood's lecture. I try to prevent that. Okay, yeah, it's nothing. So it is taking, it's reversing. So flag, it's taking the not flag, so it's assigning flag to its not. So to its binary negation or Boolean negation. So this would be clearer, right? People know this not operator? Or does anyone not know the not operator? Okay, come on. That's not clarity. That's unclear, in other words. Okay, how about this? Group this right. What is this val and 1? It's again a bitwise thing. So here we have this sort of thing where it's being anded with 1 here. So how could this be made clearer? Yeah. After all, that's what's being computed. Conceptually, it's just taking the results of its so-called bitwise and with this value 1. It's 1, otherwise it's 0. Okay, so here's a question. So here I have a function. Okay, that's a great start. Show me functions. Folks, I love it when you show me functions. I'm going to try to get my TAs to make sure they love it when you show them functions. Show me functions. Show me you thought something about what are the natural abstractions, what are the natural chunks by which to describe this work. Because your life, I was going to say your life would be beautiful to do it, but it'll be simpler, it'll be easier to reason about, you'll be fighting less, you'll have less chance of hitting one of those machines and things with the nice big screens. Okay, so here's a function, and now we're going to call this function with this. What's the issue that might come up? Here? So what does this function do? Scanf, anyone remember what that does? A long time ago. In the Galaxy, not far. What's that? Yeah, so it's reading from the input. In this case, it's reading a integer value, and it's putting it in what? It's putting it in a pointer. It's actually putting that value into whatever's pointed to by IP. IP points to some value, some integer value, and it's reading, putting something in there. That's what that scanf does. Okay, so it actually changes something. And ladies and gentlemen, that's the issue here. I mean, I don't expect you to be an expert in that sort of stuff, and that's not really the crux of it. The crux of it is it changes something. In this case, it writes to IP. Okay? I know it's a little bit confusing if you haven't seen scanf before and you're not super comfortable with pointers. I don't want you to get distracted by this. The point is that this read does something. It's given, notice its name is a verb. Read, do this. So it performs some job, it changes something. It's a command, not merely a query. It's not merely computing top and bottom breaks in a class or something, it's actually doing something. So the danger is if you have something like that and you call it from within an expression, then there's a potential clash. What's the ambiguity here? So given that this reads something, what are we reading into here? We're reading into the, whatever's, into this variable value and into this variable character. The fact that we're calling these rows from this single call here, what's problematic about that? Which one, we don't know which one's first. Which is it reading first? Is it reading this one first or that one first? We don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, I've built a number of compilers in my life. We've worked on compiler projects. I don't know which actually first, I can guess. But should you be relying on this? No, because if you take your code to a different computer, you have it compiled in Tux World instead of on your PC or a Mac, you may get different results. That's not safe. That's not safe. The calling this thing which changes something, in this case, reads in from a file and puts it here, calling it from within an expression, and it matters which of these is first as to whether val is read from this file or from this input first, or whether character is read first. It's different. You can't count on that. So having an expression where the order of evaluation, depending which order it's evaluated, will change. That's not a safe practice. So the order of evaluation is troubling. I'll just make one final comment here, and we'll have to break. Final comment here is, ladies and gentlemen, please use spaces and indenting to show the structure. What's off base with this? Okay, yeah, so it's kind of hard to read here. How would I clean this up? Maybe I'll just show this to you. So I'd unpack it into that, or maybe into this. So here we have a for loop that does nothing that's running, it's changing something here. Instead, we could have a for loop where it has something in its body, namely what was done here before, and it is just changing n here. That was part of this whole thing before. We're just changing n, and then we're successfully assigning to what's in n. And you notice this is indented. These things are on separate lines. These indentation and lines are important. How many people here have used Python before? Okay. One of the things you'll know about Python is what about indenting? It's necessary. It understands what an indent means. Now, I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, Python is not unique in that respect. People are like Python. They interpret when they see an indent, it means something to them. So when they see this indent here, they immediately know, without needing to look at the semicolon, this is inside the for loop. If you don't capture that, if this were unindented, you'd be just cruising for bruising. You're asking for trouble because people won't understand it properly, and it's very likely to be just breeding bugs. So use indentation as if the language, mandated it. But be aware that if you have something indented that's not logically indented, it's also going to be misunderstood. So in a language like C, you want to put curly brackets around a lot of these so that if you insert an extra line, it doesn't suddenly, get pushed out of being within the for loop. So having curly brackets around these by default is a good safe strategy. Okay? So that's all for today. So we just got to go to the lab. Good luck with that. We have a lot more to see on Thursday.